On today's episode of Let's Talk FGO, Anime Japan news coming out our ears. You thought I was going to make that rhyme, didn't you? We've also got a countdown to Lost Belt number 6, and some hunting quests that, using my psychic powers, I will tell you what they will be. All this and more. Let's Talk FGO. Hello, I am one of your hosts. I am Omega. On the other end of the phone is Lucky.
Heyo.
I don't know why I called it a phone, but VoIP's kind of like a phone. Anyway, hi.
Same principle. But I hope everyone is enjoying Fate Grand Order, aka Mama is on the way. And while we here at Studio Mega like to bring you the latest and up-to-date news and memes, we will be talking about current and future events for the JP and E version of the game, so anyone not wanting spoilers should make sure their sus detector is maxed.
Yes, everyone. We are recording this show on the 31st, which means that it is already April 1st in Japan, and by the time this goes public to you, it will be April 1st. But we're not recording on an April Fool's, so there will be no fool in here, at least in this video. We are committed to actually relating to you things that are happening, and not trying to futz with you. That's us. Let's take FGO. News you can trust. Ding!
You should never trust Lucky, I'm just telling you that right now.
I did a big sweeping thumbs up gesture that nobody could see. Anyway, before we get any further, I would like to really quick remind you this episode is brought to you by our patrons, which includes, but is not limited to, Out of the Heart, Blacklist OG, Call Me Zed, Carlos, Dragon, Ferris, Fights Iceberg, Jeremy Vasquez, Justin Fage, John Sandoval, Starlight, Legendary Boss Hunter, Regent Raptor, Rise of Kenji, Rogue Robyn, Star Wars Empire, Some Guy Named Bob, Starring 23, and Varian the Crow. And if you like what we do and want to see us do more, consider supporting us on Patreon. Get access to episodes early and in audio format for as little as $1 a month, and other things. We appreciate your support, as always.
Thank you.
I'm hecking enthusiastic today.
Apparently.
I don't know why.
Drugs.
No, actually. Maybe just my fresh water and good clean air.
So you're high on life.
Sure. Let's go with that. The creative juices are flowing. Do I finally get good sleep? I don't know. I don't know what sleep is. It's hot. Sleep is sweaty. I always said sweepish sweaty. Blech. Anyway. We're going to move on and check in with everybody's favorite Kohai, Mesh. Real quick.
Senpai, 起きてください.
That's because it's after 7 seconds, so I can say it's time for Wake the Fuck Up, Senpai, right? Because I'm for Pro Tips. In it, I really hope you appreciate this energy level. If you don't, make sure to leave a comment telling me to stop.
You can't see it, but I was pushing the invisible air horn button. Yeah.
Well, when Discord fully updates that soundboard feature, we can add that.
I don't know.
Anyway.
Do we actually want an air horn, though?
I don't know. I usually find the air horn jokes kind of annoying, but sometimes you can use them appropriately. Anyway, pro tips. We got a couple. First of all, April's items have been revealed. You'll know this a little bit if you've tuned in right away, but some of you are a little sketchy on your login. So, April's items in NA will be bones, gears, and spiritrons, aka god orbs, blue balls. But yeah, the Bone Zone for a whole month. Yay. Also, I don't usually include this in the pro tips, but it just so happens to be a thing that somebody mentioned in our community Discord. Join link below. But also, it's relevant because we just so happen to be recording right at the cutoff. But hey, if you're listening to this episode, the MP shop has been reset. Go ham.
Ta-da.
Refilling your EXPs if you need them, and your tickets, which you do need. You need the tickets. But that means we can move on to our regular top-of-the-show business items. First of all, beginning with Records in the Throw and our regular achievement topic. We get to do a little, bookend last first thing here. So, in the Chivos, I finished those 100 floors and got my Grail. The event. Thumbs uppin'.
Thumbs up.
Completed the story, did the stuff.
Yeah.
I got some various bond levels out of it. Nobody knew hit 10, but that's because I was cycling through a lot of people.
For me, I'm gonna put a ditto on that, get in the Grail. And in addition to that, because this event was fairly generous with such things as EXPs. Yes, they're very generous with EPs. All these servers are dropping their latest fucking hot mixtapes on me. Can't fucking handle it. But I was able to protect Fergus, Jaguar Man, and Geronimo's Smile. So I got three of my rares out of the way as I very slowly make my way back into, getting everyone caught up. In addition to that, as Mega did mention this before, but I did actually finally get my Tama Lancer to Bond 10. I'm very excited about that.
Nice.
Yeah, I do believe her Bond CE is interesting when it gives +10 quick and buster when she is on the field. So I'm like, I don't know if I'm necessarily going to be able to slot that into any of my existing cons, but I feel I feel proud having it.
What level is your Tamalancer currently? Also, for the people.
What
who
level? 100.
It's pretty good. That's I don't know if you necessarily need the boost from CEs for HP and attack then, so you could probably try it out.
No.
Quite a few sevens do have interesting Von CEs. I like to try and shout that out when we do Wanted and other stuff.
I still think my favorite is just regular Tamamos, which is just a big art boost, and she doesn't need no attack or health boost because she's level 120 and has like 18k HP. She is not Tamamo, she is Tama Tank. I mean, especially with her especially with her arts buff and heal and her defense. Tamamo can take some damage. It's great. I love her. Mwah.
Very solid.
But on the same note, though, we're gonna pivot over to Not All the World's Evil, but damn close. As thank you, Legendary. Legendary posted our image of the Tama Tank.
Nice.
But so I will say it's not that I dislike the Akihabara, Akihabara. I mess it up all the time. I did not dislike this event. I thought it was a fun event. But at the same time, I really could not be asked to complete this fucking event. I hit floor 50, got my grail, and I'm like, I'm done. I did not do the back alley quest. I did not touch the meat tower. I was just like, no. I'm not entirely sure why. Omega also has something to add after this.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we got the bookend here. I could say double ditto. I think I did like 10 meat floor towers and called it a day.
Yeah.
I also am not opposed to the format of this event, but I mean, it's kind of relevant for an FGO podcast, but I kind of feel like this one hit at a bad time. We had a lot of other gaming stuff coming out around now. RE4 Remake just dropped.
Final
Fantasy 14 PvP season is ending soon. So both of us are on that grind a little bit. I think you're still in the grind too.
Yeah, no, actually, I'm in 14 right now getting my Beast Tribe quest because I'm pretty sure after this I'm gonna drag everyone. We're gonna do more PvP because I wanted to go play Stellaris to redeem my honor for getting Omega fuckboxed in game, but I forgot that Omega has to spend like several hours processing.
Yeah, I have to edit this show so we can post it.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go probably grab everyone for PvP, and we're gonna work on that tonight.
That at least I can do because that doesn't require me using my PC.
Mm-hmm. But yes, no, just like games work and stuff. Because here's the thing about the event. I feel like this tower event actually demands more time out of you than it should. Because you only say. Yeah, you can only use so many servants, and you have to wait so long before they can come back. That if you want to be optimal and efficient about this, you have to be coming back to this game every few hours to like maintain max. Some people can do it. Like I'm pretty sure there's people like on the third or fourth day who's like, yeah, I'm done with the fucking meat tower. And at that point, I didn't even know the meat tower existed. So I was just like, what?
Yeah, it's you have to keep coming back, and there's no like autofill button in FGO or anything. So every time you finish a quest, when you go to the next one, because it's an all new quest, you have to rebuild your team again.
Yeah.
And it requires like extra button presses, extra focus, and like I said, I managed to find the time while watching YouTube videos or plinking away on other stuff that I could still do the core for the Grail. But a lot of time it's just like, shit, dude, I don't want to stop what I'm doing to like have to cycle through my team every 5 to 10 minutes ish. Especially the early quests are pretty easy, but it's the kind of thing that once I got my Grail, I was just like, do I really need this extra shit? I mean, it's cool, but they gave us 6 of the event CE in that first, 100 between the shopping cart and the tower center. So, like, I don't know. I didn't feel the need to overcommit.
Well, more thoughts on that later.
Yeah, we'll have some more follow-up on the event and the general structure. One thing I want to observe, though, before we move on is, it is interesting because this will be our last tower event, possibly forever. There has not been another tower in JP yet since this one, so we'll see.
Well, we've had, 3 tower events so far?
Yeah. And they're fairly spursed out, so they could bring it back, they could not, I don't know.
The first one was the Oni Tower one. Was that...
Setsuban?
Yep, Setsuban. Then we had
Amazon deliveries, yeah.
Yep. And this one. Well, we'll see. The tower events is like, we have 3 of them, so it is a format that they keep coming back to. So I don't know. Yes. I'm more concerned if they'll actually maybe start rerunning these events.
That could be interesting, because that would give you an opportunity to catch up on, like, story and stuff, and to get a crack at some... There are some event CEs and some rewards and things they could tune.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we'll see.
We will see.
Very well, then. Let us move on to our next matter of business.
Business.
Did you finish your master missions?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I think I wrote the wrong line. I'm pretty sure the last one was complete 10 quests. Let me double check.
Editing on the fly.
It's my bad. I did not edit my lines correctly. The ones that I know are good are defeat 3 balanced servants. I can't remember which version of neutral that is, but the English version renders that as balanced. Defeat 15 enemies, each with the heaven and earth attributes. Oh, that's an extra tab I don't need. And you also can acquire 2, then 4 skill gems or pieces through battle, and yes, the last one is complete 10 quests. So,
huzzah!
Basically, if you were doing your tower stuff already, you probably solved this. If you didn't, you should be able to very easily fix this, either by doing the hunting quests, which have premiered now, or by hitting up a few free quests. Let me see where you're most efficient for those, those heavens and earths are. Obviously, skill gems or statues, very easy to handle by just doing dailies, but you may need to hunt down balanced. Okay, it's pretty easy. You can do 2 runs of Orleans Bordeaux to get 16 earth attribute enemies, and then if you run Septum Gaul 3 times, that's 9 heaven enemies and 3 balanced, so you can keep running that into the ground, or do Mount Etna, also in Septum, I think has like 7 heavens, 7th heaven. You can keep your eye out for that. That should run you through pretty quick if you're in a hurry, and if not, like I said, hunting quest should be able to handle probably like half these.
Most excellent.
Alright, that means it's time for the fun time of our show. The news. We got quite a bit, actually. Some of this was happening right around when we recorded last, through Anime Japan last weekend, though, the times were all over the place. But we also have some NA news as well, since Akihabara just wrapped up. So, let's run down the line. First of all, in JP, Spring New Master Aid Campaign. The grammar on this one's a little weird, but it's here. 2023, technically. I don't know if they have a regular Spring New Master Aid campaign. I don't remember, but specifically this one is for Spring in 2023. Started the 27th of March, will be going until the 1st of May. There is a retweet campaign ongoing, a login campaign you can do, and a limited time missions for story completion, all of which give you QP, St. Quartz, tickets, and more, including, ultimately, a brand new CE with school uniform Artoria and Mandracardo, my friendo.
My friend.
So, that's cool. This is also something that will very easily slot into NA in a couple of years. I do like how it feels like since Lasengel took over the helm, they seem to be thinking fairly globally with this project. Probably that Sony money influence.
Yep.
There are, however, 3 summon campaigns that are going along with this that are fairly interesting. You've got, on one set, a Merlin Emiya run, a Artoria Herc one, and a Gilgamesh Astolfo one. So that's an SSR and SR rate up on all of those. Those are all 3 separate banners. Fairly interesting. Gil gets a comeback in this year, so he's gotten his at least 1 banner a year out of the way, and a Merlin comeback. That's nice to know about. Some people are still interested in picking that guy up. He's still useful for some interesting things. And obviously, while you might think that an Artoria Herc wombo combo is not that impressive since both of those units are permanent, Herc's just a really good 4-star. And Artoria's not shabby since she's been buffed several times. Emiya's also, really good. I think, honestly, the most underperforming there is Astolfo, and that's still, he's a decent SR.
I mean, if you have nothing else.
Yeah, I mean, he needed a couple buffs, but he's got a somewhat consistent system, at least. Also, if I'm understanding this update correctly, your friends list has been permanently increased by 3 slots, because there are new quests to make more friends, and so they've just added 3 slots. So, that's cool.
Very nice.
But, let's talk about the big one. Anime Japan 2023. Technically, this is a little, in-game campaign we've got going from it went from the 27th to the 30th. So, first of all, at the top, Ordeal Call, got a new key visual, got a PV. The PV is full of spoilers.
It is.
But they are going forward. I believe the implication is that we're going to see the first of this, definitely this year. I don't remember if they said spring for this part. But they got a lot of spring stuff coming up, so keep your eyes out. First of which is the thing they have mentioned is still in this spring period, coming soon, a new mechanic. We are unveiling a new system. It is called Class Score, and it looks kind of like a skill tree sphere grid kind of a thing. So we're not really sure of any other details other than we have a very, fancy graphic, a very interesting UI for this, and it does seem to be class-based. So that's interesting. Sounds like this is going to be on top of your Grail forging and stuff and your append skills, your new way to get more juice.
Omega, I'm going to be real. I just thought about this. Final Fantasy X came out in 2001. There might be some people who might not know what the sphere grid is.
You're right. Some people might not get my sphere grid reference. Well, Ishin came out this year, so I can say It could be a Yakuza-style skill grid.
Yes. People should get that.
It's circular. It's got orbs in it. So it's just like a dragon. Well, I haven't personally played Path of Exile, so I can't make that analogy.
Oh, that's also a good one. I have played Path of Exile.
Yeah. I don't remember what
I want to call that a skill grid. That's more just like lines to crystals that go up.
I don't remember what they call that system. And I'm gonna be real. First of all, Final Fantasy 13 was also a lot of years ago. And I don't know how many people are gonna be begging for that analogy. Anyway. My best guess is what this will probably be. Because it's called Class Score, I'm gonna guess that probably, like, the more units you have in a class and the more you've leveled them unlocks, like, further bonuses, maybe? Whether that's like, it unlocks new, like, currency or items you can exchange, or if it actually, like, makes you better?
That's interesting. Cool. That's kind of like what Azure Lane does. The more ships you have in a faction and the higher level they are, you actually get additional bonuses with using them. I can't remember what they call that system, but...
Yeah, it's just, I'm not necessarily, like, begging FGO for more mechanics, but there is a definite, like, prog curve to the game, and, like, once we got to it takes a fuck ton of EXP. Once we get to the ability to just cast grails with extra servant coins, which can technically be produced infinitely at the free-to-pay level, because you can, just burn 3-star and lower servants you can get on the FP gacha. Which, keep in mind, chat, after all those bronzes were added and stuff, I still have, and after Nobukatsu, etc., I still have, like, 2 million FP. Like, FP is a big resource. Fleet technology. Sounds kind of similar to Class Score. We could make it work. I have loads and loads of FP, so, the Grail casting economy when that hits us will be pretty open-ended. Combine that with, EXPs to actually level to 120. We're at a point where it can get pretty heavy duty, right? In terms of, like, HP and attack totals.
Oh, I think this is good because games need to keep on with their power scaling. Mm-hmm. Because as events go on, people are not going to be happy with just, doing the same old difficulty over and over again. They're going to want their content to gradually get harder to reflect, the progress they put in their own units. But at a certain point, there's going to be a plateau.
Yeah, and you have to watch out for putting too much of a mechanical gap on your new players. Mm-hmm. Like, if this class score system works based on, like, how many units you've obtained, that seems like a kind of thing that's just naturally going to level up. Or maybe it's not. Maybe you have to, like, spend currency to unlock nodes to enhance your classes. In that case, maybe you just focus on what you like. We'll see. They say it's coming out in spring, so we got 3-ish months? 2-ish months for them to roll this out. We'll say. Mega Man X3 and its consequences have been devastating on our community.
Oh, it really has. I am glad we are past it and never have to do it again.
Hey, if you don't get that, if you're listening to this right now and you don't understand that reference, go look on our channel in our stream tab. Actually, I think I have a Mega Man tab. If I haven't made a Mega Man X playlist, I need to. You can watch Lucky play all 3 of the first Mega Man X games so far, but specifically can watch X3 and can understand why we're saying these things. Yeah, I believe that we're gonna have a run of Ordeal Call stuff soon, but I'll get to that in a second, because this is only our first Mechanicum news out thing to talk about. Our second one is, we're gonna have the Spirit Tour, I think I said Spirit Tour Festival, starting the 2nd of April. I guess JP wanted to avoid any confusion with April Fools as well.
It's important.
This new event thing, new update, whatever it is, it'll allow you to obtain a new Spirit Leaf currency, You can obtain this currency from dailies, from MSQ progress. Also, yes, I know I've only been playing Final Fantasy 14 for like 6 months, but it's called main quests or story quests in FGO. I'm just going to abbreviate MSQ now. You hopefully understand what I mean. But doing MSQ clears, and also the festival will include limited time missions and login bonuses to obtain them. So, kind of like pure prisms, but it sounds like they're being faster in the distribution. I guess a good comparison would be like when they rolled out faux pas, but again, hopefully the exchange rate is better. But these leaves, these spirit leaves, we have confirmed you will be able to use them to obtain servant coins for welfares.
Ah, okay.
And you will also be able to spend them to obtain old welfare units. So they have confirmed they are starting with Samba Kets, Rider Kentucky, and Onicure. And it sounds like they're going to keep adding more as time goes on. Not necessarily going to be rotating, but adding more options for this exchange.
I am glad we have finally reached this point, though.
Yes, this is a huge deal. This is the thing we've been talking about, I think, for at least a year, if not like 2 years.
About 2 years.
Yeah.
Ever since we hit that point where we've rerun Nobunaga, and people are complaining that they either did not get all their copies or just do not have the ability to get one.
Yeah. So we've run through this, and so I think they've done a good pick here. Obviously, both of these events are all three of these events are past their double reruns, except for Samba Quets, which never got a rerun.
Yep.
So that's important to bring this back if you just straight up missed her, because it's been several years. And I think just in general, Rider Kentucky and Onicure, Caster Shooten, those are both just good, solid units. They are single target welfares who have very high damage output, so they're just good units to have in general. Rider Kentucky has been talked up as just a really solid baseline for welfares for years and years.
Actually, now I think about it, I think they're all good in their respective niches. They probably did some polling on what people wanted, because Rider Kentucky's real good, Shuten's really good, and like I said, and Samba Cats is an AoE ruler. That has that's important in some areas. I don't think there's a lot of permanent ones of those.
Yeah, it's true. If God forbid you need to farm Moon Cancer, she's really important. Also, we shouldn't shrug about this. She is a big damage dealer as well. She's very focused on busters and crits, which are popular in the meta again. Also, technically, I think this is all 3 card types.
Arts Buster, yeah. Wait, is only
is Shuten's NP Buster or Arts?
I thought it was Buster.
I know she has a couple of Arts cards, and I think she has an Arts Buster Wombo combo. Okay, so Shuten has a Buster NP.
Yeah, no, because I use Sheba. I use Sheba for my single target caster needs.
Yeah, it's not literally all 3 card types in NPs, but I think that covers all the niches pretty well, because like I said, I'm pretty sure Shuten has some Wemble combo carding. She is a caster. She has to have at least 2 arts cards.
I do believe she has a Buster Arts buff, though.
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
So they're spreading it out a little, but all of them are good, and this just seems like a great system. One, I know everybody has been talking since Servant Coins got added when they're going to make them for welfares, because that's a thing they always said. We're going to do that later. Keep your eye out for exchanging, because it's very hard to actually, append skill your welfares. So just, do daily missions and logins and stuff, and you'll probably get a shitload in your mailbox when they announce this system shortly. We'll know exactly how much in a couple of days, but it's not worth delaying the show, that long. So next week we'll be able to fill you out a little bit more about how this works and talk about the economy of it. But for now, very solid system. Much like how we got servant coins early. I don't think we're going to end up getting Grail casting early. I think that'll be at our anniversary. So we'll get it a month early, I guess. But depending on how spicy Nissan and Lysangle feel like being, this could be another thing that NA gets early. We'll have to see how plot important it is. And then our last little update from Anime Japan. The Golden Week collab is confirmed, still coming in late April. And Alter Ego Tiamat confirmed. This is not a drill. Big red flashing lights, sound the sirens.
Listen, they knew what people were wanting, and they were like, we have to give them this, otherwise they might riot. Like it was about to riot. I mean, it's hilarious. It's the only thing they said. It's here she is. That's it. That's all we got. Bye.
Yep. We have confirmed she is an alter ego. She will be the SSR. The event is coming. That's it.
And I'm going to be real. That's all I needed.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's a great one. We speculated, I believe, last week on what a potential Alter Ego Tiamat kit could be like, so we're not going to go back over that, so you can check that one out if you missed it. But yeah, no, it's good to just get this reference. By the way, Alter Ego Tiamat confirmed was in all caps in my show notes, and I would have put it in rainbow text, but that would have been a purely visual gag nobody would see. But yeah, they're very solid, very good for them to get in there. I mean, this talking about, like, we mentioned how people were like talking about skipping Johanna because, you know, we were thinking Tiamat might be coming. I definitely feel like this is going to put NA in a weird space for banners in a couple of years as usual, but clairvoyants do be like that sometimes.
Honestly, who was our New Year's servant this year?
For JP?
Yeah.
It was the Big R, Rasputin.
Yeah, no, I don't think... Like, based on my own personal taste and desires, like, until Tiamat shows up, I don't think there's anyone I'm fairly particularly wanting to roll for.
Well, don't commit that you're not going to roll for Kukulkan yet.
True.
That's a story banner.
Oh, wait. No, that's right.
That's
right.
this
That's
year.
right. Yeah, that's right. No, I do want the Cuckoo Clan. That's right.
Yeah. For my own personal interest, I'm pretty interested in Johanna for meme stuff. But yeah, no, the Tiamat one's very big. Luckily, we have the power of clairvoyance to pick.
It's not like the power of the PS5, though.
No. They have not sadly given us that power, but I'm waiting for them to put arcade on PS4, PS5. You could do it, guys. Come on. Give us the juice. It's a completely different game. I think they said that the new Last Samurai was going to be that's going to be like Switch PS4, right?
It's Samurai Remnant. This does not have Tom Cruise in it.
Sorry, I said Lost Samurai, not Last. But I get it. Listen, it's Fate, guys. There's so many subtitles. Samurai Remnant. Samurai Leftovers. Yeah.
Samurai Doggy Bag.
Nice. I don't remember what they announced for, but I'm pretty sure it was Switch PS4 at least. Yes, in the year of our Lord 2023, there are still video games coming out that are technically last gen. I have pre-ordered some of them. Anyway. So, Anime Japan, chock full of news. Just a big run of stuff people are interested in. I'm glad that they can kind of bring it back. I know, obviously, there were some people with the big delays that were all doom and gloom after, Lost Belt 7 and 7 Part 2 and the big delays and, we're not releasing banners for spoilers. Hey, wait a minute, isn't Nito Alter supposed to be like a spoiler? She's permanent, though, so, he's going to go in the list of characters who are just going to be completely out of fucking context, just like Castoria, and all that. And, I think maybe some of the banner releases up till then were a little lackluster, and obviously they are going for the, still on that 3-week event cycle, which has its strengths and weaknesses, but I feel like, as always, they came out swinging for Anime Japan, and hopefully knocked it out of the park. That click there lets you know that was intentional. But I feel like they really, wrapped it back around. It's just solid here. Everybody who was like, oh, doom and gloom, the game is dead. Nope. We got new mechanics for you to explore. We got new resources for you to get old shit if you missed them. And we're confirming probably one of our, most demanded servants in a long-ass time is coming.
I do want to see where FGO was on sales the night before
before Golden Week hits?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I want to see it after.
When Tiamat drops, it will be number 1. They regularly hit number 1 whenever they release new banners anyway. It's gotta be 1. But that means it is time to leave the land of the rising sun and go on to a heaping helping of NA news, at least for a little bit. We'll cycle back to some JP stuff at the end that's not, directly app-related. But we got plenty of NA news. Item number 1 technically started already. Gotta psych off. This is a long title. The titles aren't just long in Japanese. Special site, quote, Countdown to Lost Belt number 6, a review of the past, Part 2, Chapter 1 through Chapter 4. End quote. Release Celebration Campaign 2023. Why? I don't think we needed all those words in there. But starting on the 28th, going until the 24th of April, the saga of weekly logins continues. They're going to have special sites and recaps and videos, starting at Lost Belt Part 1 to Lost Belt number 4. So log in for 1 silver, 1 gold, apple, and 1 Saint Quartz each week. Just log in 3 times, get your stuff. And I want to note, because a lot of people are, freaking out. Some people have already been trying to prank them about Lost Belt 6. This only goes to Lost Belt 4 for logins. So, and goes until, second to last week in April. Do not expect Lost Belt 6 Part 1 until mid-May at the earliest. At the earliest in all caps. That is what I would like you to take it away. Omega is not saying Lost Belt 6 Part 1 in May. I'm just saying that, at minimum, I'm pretty sure there's going to be, 2 Lost Belt 5s and possibly a Lost Belt 5.5 login commemoration. And that might be before we start the Lost Belt 6 pre-release, because that's got a banner and all that shit as well. So they're doing their best to hype us up and keep us reminded that Lost Belt 6 is coming, which is really good, I think. Hell, we can say this straight up. Our own viewership has been on a dip. Like, since we left the end of last year, 5.5, Christmas, all that shit, 2023, our views have been actually quite low on the show. And I feel like FGO does have those gap moments when they're not hitting story releases in JP or NA, like, they get pretty radio silent, pretty quiet. So I think that NA is doing a good thing by constantly reminding you, hey, Lost Belt 6 is coming. Don't forget. Don't let it sneak up on you. We're really playing it up. It's going to take us a bit. So they keep hitting us with reminders, which I appreciate.
I appreciate it as well.
Also, who can say no to more apples and more Saint quartz, right?
I need to build up my stockpile again.
We also do got a story clear campaign as well through parts of this. Quarter AP on MSQs up through 5.5 until the 30th of April. That may or may not end up getting extended once again for certain pre-release campaigns and stuff. But yeah, quarter AP on all of part 1 and all of part 2 up. I believe it's through 5.5 is how they phrased it. So again, not EOR, but still. Also, we got some leyline stones shit. Log in for 3 stones, bonus missions if you cleared story content for 7 more stones, and 12 Saint quartz. Everybody who is caught up on content should get all that right away, but also if you're not caught up, now's a good time. For the moment, the stones are good through 4:30, but this may be extended when we get closer to the actual LB6 times, or they may not. Do remember that, as a legitimate complaint, they did kind of shenanigans out of leyline stones for Heiankyo for 5.5, so I'm not going to say for sure if they'll keep that up. I hope they do. I know NA has the power of foresight, but also I feel like NA has a, smaller player base, which is sometimes possibly way more casual than the Japanese player base about stuff. So I feel like they don't need to be putting us on hard mode, Give us an opportunity for them stones. But also, our next NA item, starting already, right now, Hunting Quests Part 10, from the 30th until the 6th of April. Hunting Quests are here. And now, as I said before, using my psychic powers, I shall divine for you what the order should be. It's starting with Bandits, which is current as of the time we're recording the show. That'll give you hero proofs and an opportunity for feathers, because there's some side boys in there. Next up should be Books. That'll be for pages and feathers. Hunting Quest number 3 will be Giants. That'll give you rings and chains between all the mobs there. The next one will be, it's called Manticore Hunt, but most of the mobs are goblins. Moblins, if you will. But there are also some Manticore-type enemies. That will give you seeds plus Lanugos at higher levels. The next one after that is going to be Marked Demon Boars, but will involve a lot of Dragon's Tooth Warriors, or just Tooth Warriors, as I put in my notes. That'll get you mostly Dragon Fangs and Gallstones. And then the last one will be a Cerberus Hunt, but it will include also the Black Samurai enemies, so this will give you Magatama and Comet Shard drops. Definitely going to be looking forward to that one, personally.
I gotta check my numbers on which mats I actually am low on.
Yeah. Also, sometimes you will see enemies swapped for Sakura Hands. These will give you different drops and QP, so you'll get sometimes that'll be the source of your feathers or your octuplet crystals and stuff, and also they drop 1 million QP per kill, so keep your eyes peeled for those guys. But yeah, Hunting Quests. Perfect time to stock up on your mats and get your business done.
Oh.
And to go along with this, we also have the Spring Break Pickup Summon, going from the 30th until the 9th of April. So, you've got 2 separate banners, Hokusai and Tamo. This was originally a rotating raid up, but they split it into 2 banners. And Chiyome and Hozuin will be on both. I read that as on all both. I don't know. I think I was just speedrunning the show notes earlier. We also get 2 rank ups for this. On Hokusai's pseudonym skill, she gets extra weight on arts and generates stars. The extra weight is for 3 turns. Let me actually check what her star bomb is. But increased, crit stars on arts cards. Cool. And she should be generating 5 to 15 stars. So, a decent infusion.
Enough to maybe get a couple crits on it if you have 2 art cards.
Yeah, should get you some action in there. And Chiyome gets an NP buff. It adds more damage, and also she now will add 3 turns of Evil Curse when she hits with it. I believe her NP already curses, and if not, she has a... But And this is just a flat 200% evil curse. Just 200% damage on curse damage for 3 turns. Fuck you. Get cursed. This is really good for me. In case you guys don't know, my Chiome is NP5, I think. So, one of my other premier single-target assassins, of which I have many, but I think she might be my only arts one. I have a few limited assassins, but they're all single-target, and I don't know if they're arts. MHX is quick, obviously. Gramps is Buster. There may be somebody else on that list I'm forgetting. My mind melts. I also have a Jack who's permanent, but she's quick as well.
I can't brain right now.
A head empty, no thoughts, only curse. But yeah, I'm super interested in both these rank ups. That's going to be real good. Well, yes, I own a Kiritsugu, but he is not going to beat my NP5 Chiome. That boy needs a buff. I think he is the last Emiya man who needs a buff, and he needs it still. But I was talking about SSRs. I don't think I own an arts one. But we also have a couple of other pickup news I want to chime in there. That's all for our NA stuff. But at Anime Japan, we did get a little update exactly on what we were speculating on. We were talking about last week about where the hell Strange Fake, you know? It got delayed. We also talked about how anime studios can be very blocked up with production. And it seems like that probably came true. Because it is revealed that Strange Fake will premiere early in July. I think it was, did they say July 2nd, I want to say?
I believe so.
But 99.99% that's happening at AX now.
I'm going to say that sure because that's the... well, it's not the 4th of July weekend, but that's Sunday.
Yeah,
that's a Sunday.
That's the AX weekend. That's going to happen at AX. I don't know if it will literally coincide with our anniversary panel, but FGO likes to show up to AX. They're going to show up to AX. They're going to world premiere the Strange Fake trailer there. Not trailer, the special, I guess, which might just be a trailer. I don't know. Well, they have not yet revealed if they're committed to a whole anime season, so we'll have to see how far the special goes. But our world premiere there, I am very curious, because they said they're gonna do true simulcasting. I'm very curious if they show it at AX. Will they show it in English or Japanese? Because both should be ready.
That's a good question.
They will probably have, like, I assume this, if he's not blocked up by something else, they'll at minimum have invited Nissan out again to AX. Yeah. And probably, extend an invitation to Aiko Kawasumi and some of the other cast members. I really hope we can find a way to get Nobunaga over here.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
I'd love to see him bring his energy down. Get that guy's juice down here. Because obviously he was at the Anime Japan panel in top form.
Yep. In the Arctic combat suit.
Yes,
great.
in costume, as he likes to do. Bringing his A-game. But yeah, so that might be preferable for them to release it, if they do it again at the panel, subbed with Japanese audio so they can follow along. But they might not. I don't know. I don't think we have, like, a schedule for AX events yet, so we'll probably see what FGO is blocked out for. But yeah, basically I think this is a harsh, hard confirmation that, hey, this is going to be shown at AX. It's going to be shown at one of FGO's events at AX. It's going to be a big deal. That is the very start of the summer core. If they want to commit to the episode bits, we'll see. But I don't know. Again, talking about how jammed up anime production is, I don't know if you could, like, stealth drop a core of anime after a premiere trailer like that. Like, somebody would surely notice that your studio has been busy, right? I don't know. Speaking of some minor JP announcements also, but also something NA needs to keep in mind for future, FGO JP is updating their minimum requirements. We're now talking about they're going to recommend 4 gigabytes of RAM with 3 gigabytes minimum, and you are eventually going to hard switch to needing Android 7.0. I think this update's only on Android devices, but still, yeah. They're just... The game's getting more juice, it's getting bigger, they want to make sure you got more stuff. Not that I think 4 RAM and a gigabytes?
Gigabyte.
Fucking Doc Brown over here. 1.21 gigawatts. I don't think that 4 gigabytes of RAM is, like, crazy in a phone these days, but I also know some of you, like me, take a while to update your phones. I think my phone is over-spec, but I might need a new one anyway, because my current one is bonkled.
Lucky is also considering that it's probably time for a new phone for him. But Lucky is on a list of a lot of things he needs. He needs a new chair, he needs a new Keurig, he needs a new phone, he needs a new liver.
What happened to your Keurig?
I don't
ask what happened to his liver.
Well, no, it's just old. It's like several years old, and the pump is starting to go out, so anytime the coffee is making, it screams like a demon at me, and I'm all like, yes, hell coffee, exactly what I wanted.
Okay. Wear and tear. It happens. All right. I gotcha. But also, to round this out, I made some allusions to it earlier, but we were talking about, as well, April Fool's already happened in Japan. It'll be happening here when we go in there.
Sorry.
Solid jokes in Patreon chat. Remember, while you can't get into the recording channel to listen to us record the show live unless you support us at the $10 or higher level, you can view our Patreon chat at any level of our Patreon on our Discord. You just have to also join our Discord and support us on Patreon, and you can see the things we're doing here. But yes, April Fool's happening. We alluded to it earlier. I made some jokes about it. FGO has once again rolled out another special apparino, the Fate Grail League. It's also referenced in the thumbnail, which you have been seeing this whole time. But yeah, there's just a shitload of baseball-themed images for servants and some fun times going on. I believe... Let me double-check. Yes, in our Discord, once again, there is a pinned post where on Twitter somebody has just got a link of like all the different sprites they've added that are baseball-themed, so you can pop into our Discord
zip
and check
file,
them as well.
so you can just download it and get them
Yep.
all. You don't have to necessarily dig through it.
Yeah.
Lucky has seriously considered getting something to make stickers or like acrylics and just go to town, because some of these are really, really good.
Yeah, as always, they put a lot of extra effort into it.
They do.
So that's
I'm kind of curious to see what NA is going to get tomorrow. We usually get a little something.
Yeah, we usually get like a website something just so they can post all the Rio style sprites and stuff. Does anybody remember what the app was in JP 2 years ago? Was it the Minecraft one? Was it the RPG one?
Actually, is this our first? I have a question. Is this our first year being Lasangle on April's Fools? Or is it our second year?
No, this would be our second year, because they took
Okay.
over like right at the start of New Year last year.
Well, we will see.
Yeah, we'll see how stuff shakes out. Judging by how the fact that they haven't so far released Moonlight Lost Room,
Yeah, I was just thinking about that.
even though we know Grail Live is coming up, and again, they could still release it when they do that. I assume that has. I'm also saying I am personally assuming it has something to do with like licensing the music over here and going through like all that shit. They could do it. It just might be too much of a pain in the butt if they feel like they won't get the like download traction on it. But it's gonna be very awkward when we get the tie-in event and we don't have the tie-in.
It'll be very weird.
And a lot of people are just not going to get the context because that's like where a lot of the costumes and why servants have costumes are drawn from is from the various things they did in Moonlight Lost Room. So we'll see. But I perfectly understand why the Los Angeles crew and formerly the Delightworks crew does not want to release an app just for 24 hours in America on top of releasing an app just for 24 hours in Japan, like the day before, and like managing all that shit again. So
I will say, I feel like sometimes these gacha games go above and beyond for their April Fool's pranks. Like right now in Goddess of Victory Nikkei, they have literally designed a unit that is only going to be available for this one day. Like full of voice lines, animations, chibis and stuff, special attacks and everything. And she's.
I feel like you mentioned this to me. Didn't Destiny's Child do something similar?
Yeah.
Or am I thinking the wrong? Yeah. Okay.
Well,
I remember.
That's both Shift Up. So
yeah,
that's it.
Makes
I know Azure Lane usually does something crazy. I do not remember Arknights, unfortunately.
Arknights might be a little too serious for that.
Yeah.
They got other shit they do though.
But no, it's like the jokes are real over there. It makes me wonder why they're so in onto it. Yes, Architect is the screaming "Give me shifty, damn it."
Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those like weird things that I don't know how it filtered out over there.
No, I was actually looking up the history of April Fool's Day, and then no one fucking knows. It's just a thing, and just people do it, and I'm just like, okay.
Yeah, it's probably tied to some classical, medieval holidays, like there are, pantomimes, May Day.
And it's because you said that next year we're not gonna get shit. We're not gonna get shifty. We're gonna get mecha shifty. Just you watch.
So there's probably some kind of like role of being the fool, but yeah. I've heard some back and forth on the subject. Personally, I'll say this: I've never been a huge fan of April Fools. As the youngest of 5 total siblings and having not a full blown but a little bit of a dad jokester dad, never been real keen on people trying to, fucking punk me as a child when I don't know any better. And I feel like with our modern, like, social media construct, April Fool's is really just an excuse for people to try and viral post.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to be jaded and cynical about it, but, like, I've already seen, I think some people in our Discord got by a fake out post about more Kara no Kyokai animation. I think that was a gag.
Yeah. I had to call that shit out immediately.
Yeah. It's already April 1st in Japan. And I feel bad for anybody who just has to legitimately make announcements that happen to be on April 1st, right? Like, it's the start of a new month, so it's that's part of the reason why I don't mind, blatantly, obviously false gags. We posted some stuff before. But, I don't like the fake out stuff, so I'm very curious how that caught over in Japan is just like, a thing. Type Moon's known for their April Fool's jokes. They put a lot of effort into it. Maybe that's where the cutoff is for them, like in Japan and in some other, Asian markets. It's not just that they try to, like, lie to you. They create an elaborate fake-out gag, right?
Well, yeah, it's not a prank, it's a gag.
Yeah, it's like, as a joke, we have, created Servant Twitter. Imagine if servants had social media. Woo! And, they do the joke for a day, and then they're like, okay, day's over, joke's over. Which is a better use of your April Fool or jape.
Like, the kind of pranks that, like, I am not a fan of is where they try to pass off some sort of truth that, might, distress or stress you out. Like, you can say April Fool's you want, but you will not take away those fucking few gray hairs you gave me, and I will hate you eternally for that.
And not to mention just the disappointment of squished hype. Like, yeah. I imagine a lot of people are probably very sad about the Kara no Kyokai thing. But also don't trust that, because they animated all of Kara no Kyokai already, guys. All the light novel volumes have been adapted in some form. Now, if somebody had tried to fool us by saying, more Case Files or Adventures of El Meloy, then that would be like, shit, gotcha. Yes, also, like, Sega just released Sonic is Dead.
Yeah, the Sonic murder mystery. Which is, a joke game, but, they still made a game and you can still play it, so it's I'm like, no, that's a fair cop in my opinion. It's a funny gag.
Yeah.
It's something that you wouldn't expect out of them normally, but yet here it is.
When I think that's the cutoff point, right? When you, even if it is a joke, when you produce a thing of media and you say, here is my joke, like, that's still something concrete and that lets us, like, get in on the joke and laugh about it. Whereas if you just, like I said, post fake news and then you're like, April Fool's lol, and okay, cool. You got some extra clicks, whatever. You gotta do a little something. Which, like I said, it's been a couple years, but
I think that's it. The more effort you actually put into pulling off whatever you're doing, I think the less mad I will get.
Yeah.
Like, game's gotta respect game. If you do something elaborate and crazy, and yeah, I get punked or pranked, I'm gonna be mad, but I'll get over it pretty quick. I'll be like, no, that was good.
It's like the FGO Gundam collab we keep talking about. That was a fan-made April Fool's gag, but it's like, damn, that was really good, though. Like, you made a cool animation that I remember.
Yeah.
Even if it was fake, you've just made me disappointed that it's not real because it's neat. I mean, well, we could do it that way, but a fake-out for us would probably be something like, a short video. Yeah, I could stream What's Up. That would be that'd be a funny flip, but I don't think we have anything planned. I'm thinking about, like, other projects that'll probably come later in April. I've got some other side video ideas I'll probably mention to people later. And what actually, fuck it, because I'm thinking about it. One of them I can, not a prank, but something I can talk about right now is I should mention this to Lucky because it would involve us actually having to buckle down and schedule sometime. But you talked earlier. Basically, it's a picture of a sword and a rabbit. If I had a real life rabbit and I had a real life sword, I would absolutely do that. Or if I had some advanced rendering technology, that would be good. Maybe we can save that for a future year when
definitely.
People forget. But what I was going to say is, earlier in the year, Lucky, you've talked about, wanting to try and crank up that sub number. I'm thinking that if we want to get some real juice out of that, we may need to commit to sometime this year doing Gil versus the World 2. Because that
really?
First one we did with Saint Courts really put us on the map, and I know people have asked about it before. But that would... I have in mind how I would handle, like, I think I still have all my old notes documents, and I have in my mind, like, a visual presentation of that. It would mean that you and me would have to, like, brick out a day or two of extra recording sessions during the week to get through it.
Listen, if we can get like an extra $40 a month on our Patreon, so Omega will ship me that extra 20, I will just buy the fucking Adobe Photoshop suite and all the fun little tools that come with it.
Hey, there's a good referencer.
Because Adobe Premiere and Adobe Max are still, like, I really do hate Adobe's, like, fucking monthly subscription model, but the tools they've got are still really good, and I really don't want to have to go digging through, like, 80 third-party tools just to get what I want.
I did see a tweet collage somewhere that was like, Adobe was like, hi, we're indispensable, and somebody was like, hey, here's like 40 different alternatives. Yeah. But admittedly, they're all split up through like different services as well, so you don't get like the bundle. I think our Patreon has ticked slightly back up. We got some people back in. But yeah, support us on Patreon, drive those numbers up. We can get more sick visuals in.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like I said, it would be going back to my roots a little for video design, but I have some ideas in mind for for what Guild vs. the World 2 would look like. If we could get it out before Strange Fate comes out, that would be cool. But again, I don't want to do anything just yet. There's no in demand for it, so I would like to actually like do a thing I don't do very often and take my time in like editing and shaping that. It's just I would need to no Lucky's down to clown with, sitting down for a couple hours to do that and actually like write out all my notes.
No, I'm down to clown.
Thank you, Legendary. All right. I will I think hey, check out our Genesis APs, Gensakai. We're like 24 episodes in. It's very cool. Some of you like some episodes and some of you don't, but we had a good session that just posted today on Friday, and the beach episode was last time. It was really good. But I'm almost done with gaming session stuff for that, which should hold us for like 2 or 3 weeks. So I'm ready to buckle down and do some script writing and stuff.
Yeah. Actually, slight tangent. We were wondering that once we got done with the Alliance raid on this fucking Dread Pirate Roberts, if you want to maybe switch tags and do some Delta Green or the Sprawl.
We could take a little break. Yeah, that would be a nice one to refresh. I have a lot of ideas for where Gensakai can go from here, but I also don't know what you guys are gonna want to do after that. So we could take a little off. I could bust out my
just
Delta
run something
Green
for like 2 to 3 weeks. I think that'd be good.
Yeah, I could bust out my Delta Green notes again, but I was in the middle of writing something, so it might be better to grab the Sprawl. I still have our setup for a train job.
Oh,
that's what we talked about doing last time. So I still have my. Whenever we stop a Sprawl adventure, I like make sure to at least take a day and like rough sketch my ideas for next time. So that might be as usual. That's almost always a good 2-sessioner. We can debate what kind of raid it is later, but that is all we got for Skelegrams and general stuff. It's very nice Skelegrams. It's taken us almost to an hour raw time. I think it's time for a brief intermission, and then we'll get to Mailbag. We're back. We're resuming. I have not only opened my window chat, but I have thrown open my curtains. Hopefully, the small forest creatures do not object to me recording the show at 10 o'clock at night. But it's hot in here.
Did you dramatically throw them open?
A little.
A little.
It's like I said, it's 10 o'clock at night. Minimal drama. But alright, we're here.
Minimal drama. But, like every week, it is time for this week's Let's Talk FGO Mailbag, the segment where we what you have to say and comment accordingly. This week we have 7 lovely comments, and I am excited to get through them all, so let's begin right now.
Lucky number 7.
So, we start off with a master looking over the mountain of stuff my servants bought in Akihabara and thinking, so this is how Gilgamesh feels. Hey guys, we all know why we're here. We won. Tiamat is coming home at last. Question this week is, who would you like to see interacting with her? I would love to see her go full mommy mode with Gorgon in King Protea. Sending you to good vibes. Wah 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 wah. And enjoy the downtime leading up to Lost Spell 6.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty interesting. I guess in general, first of all, there's a question of, like, I don't know how Arcade does it 100%, but are, like, all of Tiamat's lines just going to be Aoyuka going, ah? Probably
not. She's probably actually going to have lines, but I'm hoping she has other lines for, like, mothers.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, maybe has something like their mama score is so high, I can see it with this eye. Other such thing like that.
I definitely feel like there should be a line for Gorgon, and maybe could be a return line from Gorgon. We know that Yasukawa was in studio to do that one Fujimaru doesn't understand, of which there continue to be more, by the way, and they keep knocking it out of the park. The Nemo one was fucking hilarious.
I am really hoping that when AX comes, they're just going to be like, yeah, we're just putting them all on Crunchyroll, let's go.
Let's go, do that brand integration. But yeah, so almost assuredly there should be a Gorgon one. Probably should be one for Enkidu, you know? It would be another one that probably should be some kind of something, even if it's just, Tiamat pouty noises. Probably should have a line for Ketz. Ketz did, do an orbital power bomb onto her. Probably worth acknowledging. Okay, she has actual dialogue in Arcade. That's good.
Yeah, I figured.
Like, I know in the anime adaptation they actually gave her a few, lines, but I wasn't sure how they were going to handle that. But okay, good. Actual dialogue. That means we can have some fun here.
That's all I have on that. Let's keep going.
Alrighty.
Moving on. This next one comes from the Procrastinating Master, who still managed to miss last week's mailbag after the extension.
I can't believe you've done this.
Hey, Lucky and Mega, sending you the spring vibes. I don't know what the onomatopoeia for spring is. This may be a spring? Spring. There it is. That is now spring vibes. Actually, it's very lovely. Actually, Lucky is going to hit that tangent button and swerve to the left here. We are in spring. The first day of spring was the early 20th of March. I can't remember. It was like 21st or 22nd or something. I can't remember. But yeah, I walk home and I'm constantly seeing flowering trees and stuff, and it got me excited. Also reminded me that here in Washington State, we actually do have spring festivals. Specifically, we have a cherry blossom festival celebrating the anniversary when the Japanese Prime Minister, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, gifted the city of Seattle 1,000 cherry blossom trees as a token of friendship between the two. And that festival is actually coming up here in a couple weeks. So I am excited for spring vibes. I'm gonna try and get out to that probably Sunday when I do not have to do a stream or something.
Yeah. By the way, you were pretty dead on. The vernal equinox was March 20th this year. The exact 20th. The autumnal equinox will be September 22nd.
Good to know. Let's see here. Where is my picture? Here it is. I posted this in our general chat here not too long ago, but I'll post it here. But yeah, no, we just got the trees are alive with the flowers of spring, and I'm excited to see it. I'm just not excited for in a few weeks when they're going to start releasing everything into the air, and I'm going to start dying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know that one.
But yeah, so I'm excited. But let us go on. My question this week is, with the release of Old Will for Servants, would you prefer main interludes where you can play the events the servant debuted in, or just purchasing the servant with the new currency system? Here's to hopefully finally completing the collection and getting Santa Salter.
I mean, I think that depends on the servant.
I mean, I don't think we should necessarily have to main interlude events. If we can just have a way to put the event stories directly into your event records, I think that'd be fine.
That'd be nice if we could do that. And in general, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Most people acknowledge this. Some of FGO's early events are not written that well. I don't know how many of them are really that bad per se, but some of them are very straightforward and tropey. Don't actually add that much to it. And some of them have very bad mechanics that would are somewhat mitigated by main interludes, but still, there's some awkwardness in some early game design growing out. So I think depending on the servant, definitely the Christmases have some funny lines for the most part, but obviously, we don't understand the context of why Samba Cats wasn't rerun, so it's nice to get her, dropped directly in there. It'll be interesting to see kind of what order they roll them out in. Just being able to get the stuff would be nice, but I do also hope that, for instance, there's going to be a lot of servants if they don't come up with some way to clear it, where the welfare is going to have a bunch of, locked dialogue, because that was for, shopkeeper or other event stuff that you're just not going to get. So I don't know if they'll, can program that in a code to when they, go to this Spirit Leaf exchange that just unlocks automatically, or what?
Oh yeah, that's right. Shiki's Ping Pong Pong is one of her shop dialogue.
Yeah, that's when you clear a mission, I think, but it might be also a buy. But yeah, even if they did a free Shiki, you won't be able to get that dialogue added to your voice lines if you didn't do the event when it came out, unless they are pre-programmed to unlock after it's over. So there's some wiggle room there. I think, like you said, just directly unlocking some of the content, whether it's in records or, the servant's voice lines and stuff, it's probably the best way to do it. Some events are more entertaining as main interlude. I'm actually kind of interested in when they make OQ a main interlude, because that just seems like a thing that you probably, you log into FGO, you're I can clear a couple rooms in OQ, and get some extra mats from.
Did they not?
We did the rerun. Have we gotten the main interlude, or isn't that later this year? We've got the CCC main interlude.
Oh, okay. It's later.
OQ will be a main interlude, but I don't know if we've gotten it yet over here. I didn't think we did.
No, we have not. I would
Yeah,
remembered.
okay.
I was confused for a second.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of Sakuras. CCC also being a main interlude was another one, because now you can just do those high difficulty quests to fight King Protea whenever. You know, you don't have to worry about too much progress there. So it's solid stuff for some events that are maybe a little long, maybe a little drag outy. But I think either one works. I do definitely hope that obviously Samba Quest is a really good grab. I do kind of hope they do some of the earlier ones. Perhaps they use this as an excuse to do rank ups for like Santa, Salter, and Little Jean. You know,
that'd be good too. They didn't mention anything about rank ups. I don't think did they even actually talk about when the welfare system will be released.
They did say that the Spirit Tour Festival will be the 2nd of April, and that's supposed to be when the Leafs are launching. So I assume that's when the exchange will open. But they started with 3, very solidly kitted servants, so they don't have to worry about that yet. But I do hope that since they said they plan to add more, that they do actually give us a little bit of rank up juice there. There's some old welfares that could use it.
No, I can't imagine them just releasing them in our current game meta as is.
Mm-hmm. Also, need you to bunch up on your mic a little, buddy.
Sorry, I was leaning away a bit.
It happens. There we go. We've got those dulcet tones back.
You know you love them.
Careful now, Lucky. You're the one who gets embarrassed when people say they like the sound of your voice.
It is true.
We're going to get a lot of those comments now.
No! Alright, well, let's quickly move on and distract people here.
Yeah.
Oh... Yeah, so I think that's we have answered that. Let's keep going. Axe, I'm gonna murder you.
No context required.
This next one comes from the procrastinating master who... Nope, we just did that one. See, Axe, you threw me off! You threw off my groove!
You threw off my groove!
This next one comes from looking forward to the one April Fool's joke that's actually really good. The rest can suck it. They say, howdy, Lucky and Mega. While Bond farmed my way up the tower, I realized how well post-buff Amakusa Kit synergizes with Semiramis. Took a lot of buffing, but now you can support her properly. So my question is, do you have any servant combos, whether through Game Boy or lore, that you like running together? Love the content, and take it easy, fellas. Yes, I like running Tamamo and Castoria, plus any arts character.
I mean, specifically, I think that a good arts wombo combo that may have been intentional is Muramasa plus Castoria, because both of them seem to have a sword thing going on, but it's a really good team that I like. So that's cool. Also, while they don't necessarily synergize exactly, but, Musashi and Muramasa are also both, Musashi Summer, both arts, both have a sword thing. We can hang out.
Maybe this will be the year of Muramasa's summer costume.
That'd be pretty hype. Listen, this is what, 8 years? It's a lot of years. It's a lot of summers.
A lot. Alright, Lucky's got to do something real quick here. Yeah, refreshments!
The classic.
Mm-hmm. But... and I guess actually for something I do actually genuinely enjoy running, even if it doesn't make sense. I enjoy running all the Tamamos together. It just amuses me to no end to see Tama Lancer, Tamamo, and Tamacat all in the same field.
No matter what card you pick, just lots of Chiwa Saitonoses.
Yes. No, that's the point, Axe. I know Axe said that with no context, but I know exactly what he's talking about. Actually, has someone done God's work already and done? No, they have not. Son of a bitch. Oh wait, yes they have. They've done it already.
Surely they are doing God's work.
Yeah, no, that's actual in-game. That's Shifty, the joke character for our April's Fool. Her burst animation is her being unable to control a minigun.
As you would expect from firing a minigun. I believe first of all, I think they used the 5.56 microgun version for the prop, but I believe that in Predator, when they actually had the minigun, the only person who could actually carry the whole rig on set was Schwarzenegger. The others needed to be, assisted into the setup and moved around the scenes when they were shooting.
Oh, wait, I think I found a better one.
That one's got more special effects.
Yeah! I'm saving this one. Favorite it! But, where were we? I was distracted. Oh, yes, we're moving on to the next one here. Top percent. But this next one comes from the Tyrant King who was going to make a Tiamat-related alias, but was too astonished by Avril Lavigne promoting Battle Spirits on Twitter. What?
Yeah, you don't check trad games, but it's real. Bandai is really trying to do this, push this Battle Spirits TCG they're bringing over here. And there is a fucking tweet from Avril Lavigne about it.
Lupin, how much are you hurting for money or do you enjoy playing the game? I need explanations.
I don't know. Is she one of those Western artists that was really big in Japan? It happens sometimes.
Like, Lupin, if you actually are into the game and you like it, power to you, live your fucking best life, but, man.
God, I hate that phrase you just uttered. Somebody in our patron chat talking about the game said it died when Shonen Jump was still physical. It's like, ugh.
That's a very particular time.
As I look at my copies of physical Shonen Jumps on my shelf.
Actually, wait, no, they're books. They're Sorry, I was thinking about something else. Tanikaku, we're actually going to go on to the question here.
Yep.
Hey guys, with the arcade collab fulfilling the prophecy that Mama TIAMAT and FGO finally bringing back the old welfares and... Oh, okay, excuse me. I read this incorrectly. Hey guys, with the arcade collab fulfilling the prophecy that is Mama TIAMAT and FGO bringing back old welfares and their servant coins, what do you think the next item on the list is that they're going to be... What do you think is the next item on the list that they're going to put on the chopping block next? Anyway, that's it for me. Sending you vibes your way and hope that you have a great evening. Also, happy April Fools. Could the Avril Lavigne thing be an April Fool's thing?
No, it was like posted today. What it's not. They dodged the date.
Barely.
Had a double
yes, Legendary. That's why they stopped the physical distribution of it, because they went to when they ended the physical releases, it's because they were actually really fucking successful and decided to move to a digital platform.
Yeah, it costs, if you do it right, digital costs less and makes better profit margins.
Yeah, no, it became digital in about, what was it, 2011? It was the early 2010s.
It's still, I think, been all digital for several years.
No, I'm pretty sure, I'm pretty sure they just did a full stop on the physical early 2010s. I am pretty sure. See, so now I'm going to go fact checks, and so we delay again.
Well, while you're fact checking, I was going to bring up, because I want to get this out there for the people at home, leave your comments. I don't actually know what our, content memes for them to kill are, right? We've got Rasputin. He came out finally. He was the New Year's guy. They're adding in old welfares, not specific ones yet, but they're still working on it. We're gonna have whatchamacallit, Tiamat, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're still, progressing down the list of Gouda Gouda characters. We got an extra character in for the White Day, which we talked about last week. So I don't know. I guess Mash Bond, because she's stuck at 5. I think that's the. I believe Mash gets her old kit back in one of the parts of Lost Belt 6.
Lucky's trying to think of something that he yells about. Servants are always a weird thing. I'm trying to think more of.
Yeah, I guess Aggravate is on the list there.
Of gameplay.
Siduri, I guess, if we're getting Tiamat.
Siduri would be nice. Siduri welfare. Give.
It's a meme we have not capitalized on yet. Okay, they push Mash to Bond died, so okay. It's good. Then they do need to do the 10 and give her a Bond CE, I guess. Don't know how memey that is.
Listen, they're only gonna do that right before the game ends. It's gonna be the final chapter. And you're gonna be like, what? Okay, but let's keep going. Unless you have anything more you want to add, Omega.
No, though I was just gonna say that also. I mean, she appeared as a Battle in New York sprite, but Siduri is also not playable. I know she's not technically a servant then, but still. They did a fucking servant intro for her to promo the anime, so I guess technically standalone Yoshitsune and Saber Raiko are still things they've alluded to. I don't know if they're actually going to do those, but there might be some more foreshadowings. But anyway, people at home, let us know your content memes in the comments, and then we should move on.
Oh. So let us move on. This next one comes from Monster Girl Aficionado. They say, Dear Lucky and Omega, no question this week, only Tia Mama-based celebration. Sending you good vibes and wishing you well. Keep up the great work. Wah, 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 wah. Thank you.
Wah, wah, mama.
Wah, wah. Ooh. I am still 200% mad about how I couldn't get half my fucking music videos to play on the fucking YouTube playlist, by the way.
On the one hand, I'm a little surprised, but also I'm not really. Like, I'm like, would I still have that much juice about it? I mean, I got a couple stuff skipped as well. Then again, you were also having other bad times going on.
Like, I know I tangent with that out of nowhere, but to explain, yesterday we were playing Stellaris. It was our Thursday game, and we decided to play Stellaris because we like to get our 4x space up in there. And as usual, we decided to queue up the Watch Together feature of YouTube. We really didn't have a plan, so I just started throwing music videos in there because we were talking about Welcome to the Black Parade and how it still fucking rocks even like 10 years later. And I can only get like one song of it to work. And everyone's just like, oh, it's just a music night. We're all just going to start putting fucking music in there. And I decided to be like, it is time for the music of my youth. And I could not get I could get a couple of them, but like 3 out of the 4 ones were like, this video cannot be played. Skip. I'm just like,
yeah, and I do not know how it works because like sometimes it feels like their official YouTube channels don't work because they're like marked as their content. But I got Tainted Love to work when it was the official version, but others that were unofficial didn't work. So I have no fucking understanding what it is.
Yeah, no, I actually got like my plan at some point today was just to sit down and understand. Okay, Discord, how do your fucking I'll like preemptively make a fucking playlist.
On the plus side, though, it did seem like Japanese music did work.
Yeah, a lot of Axe kept putting in well, he put in a lot of covers really, but
yeah,
it was some Annie song and some Sentai song.
There's I think there's a term in the like music space both on YouTube and in general for like cover artists.
Shut the fuck up! I'm not gonna let you be pedantic right now. I don't know the
people who are
term,
gonna
okay?
fight. The people who are gonna fight us about whether or not God was Sentai. I refuse the fight.
I was like, I do not care. And if you start this fight, I'm gonna care a lot more about getting you the fuck out of this. So consider your words wisely, Axe.
We didn't get to all of it, but yeah, some stuff got in there. At one point, you were like, "Oh, we're doing this," and like started queuing up like some old Bleach openings, and I was like, "All right, okay, I can fuck with this."
Oh yeah, no, I was just going through like. Oh, I didn't put fucking Ichiro no Hana in. That's like one of my favorite Bleach openings.
Yeah, it's a real good one.
Yeah, by High Mighty Color. I remember that shit. I was queuing up some Asian Kung Fu Generation. I was putting in some what is it, Jam Project, but he didn't put in the iconic one, which was the One Punch Man OP here, which I found was weird. I'm pretty sure Axe was like, I don't like that one, probably because it's the popular one. But yeah, no, I was having trouble with that, and like I said, I was having a bad night with that because I got put into a fuck box in Stellaris. Not once, but twice. The first time, though, it would actually destroy me. I literally couldn't do anything about it, and I was about to die, so we had to restart. The second time, I actually made some progress, and I have a little banana slice of the galaxy, and I'm gonna work it.
And we were also actually close enough to like start forming a union.
Yes.
We are
the Space Truckers Union 444.
The last time we played Stellaris, I was the one who was fuckboxed. Like, I was minding my own shit in my own corner of the galaxy and suddenly ran into 2 empires, and one of them got real annoyed at me and just started rocking my shit. And it was just like, well, I think I'm gonna die, guys. Goodbye.
This is one of the reasons why I set up the Federation, so we could, keep better tabs on each other.
Also, as we talk about with Stellaris constantly, and we'll probably talk about more tomorrow on What's Up, you mentioned this again that night, but in general, Stellaris is one of those games that, like, every time we boot it up, we remember a new mechanic. And there's a lot of shit in Federations that I've only happily got in there, and, Ooh, that is interesting. Okay, that's good to know. Sorry, that was, we'll double aside. This is vaguely relevant because it's gacha related, but, Princess Connect is, is it technically their global server?
I'm not sure.
Or specifically the English version is shutting down.
Yeah.
Rather suddenly, which has a lot of agitation from people, and some people have been taking some bones to pick with Crunchyroll about it because they don't have a great track record of officially licensing gacha games and localizing them and supporting them.
Yeah, no, but from what Legendary does says, no, Crunchyroll might have fucked up. I still do not condone people trying to get their fucking money back, but Crunchyroll is I think they must have fucked up.
Yeah, it's apparently Cygames decided to cancel the ongoing contract and pull the plug. And who knows, that may just have been that Cygames are like, okay, this Western version isn't making us enough money.
Yeah.
But it's very interesting.
That is interesting.
Let's see. We got 2 more. No, mailbag. 2 more mailbag.
2 more to my bag. You know what? We're gonna do it straight. This next one comes from Agent 418, who says, "Hello, Lucky and Omega. Has there ever been something in the Fate community that made you go, wow? Excuse me. Hello, Lucky and Omega. Has there ever been something in the Fate community that made you go, wow? People real think Fate is cool." For me, it was when a creator I watch did an updating, correcting to their own Explain Servant video, and it was 6 hours long. P.S. Have a good weekend.
You also still missed something there. The first line of this is, has there ever seen something?
Okay, I auto-corrected.
Yeah, you fixed it. You fixed the first thing. Grammar got a little away from you there. Well, I mean, I don't know. Thinking about, like, seen something that make... I don't know. I feel like I see a decent number of those. There's plenty of videos out there of either people's, like, first exposure to Fate or trying to, like, summarize things or capture stuff. It's
trying to think...
It's a little weird for...
my moment.
Yeah, it's weird to ask this question of us, though, because I feel like we're the ones who... We think Fate is cool and we make those videos.
Like, when did I go, nah, Fate is fucking rad? Like, I'm trying to think. Because I knew of Nasuverse Works. I just wasn't, neck deep in it until we actually started playing FGO. Because, I knew of Cardinal Kyokai, I knew of Tsukihime, I knew of Fate. Those were, like, the big 3 I knew. I had watched, like, Fate's Day Night, some of Cardinal Kyokai, and some of Tsukihime. And I did play, like, the Tsukihime visual novel a bit. I didn't play all of it because I didn't understand visual novels back in that day. But my general opinion was just neat. I think it was just FGO, and once we started getting into story, fuck, like, when did it pop off for me? Honestly, I'm probably gonna say fucking, like, between Camelot and fucking and Time Temple Solomon, if I'm gonna be real.
Pretty good time for story, yeah.
Like, I think up until that point, I was like, yeah, no, this is neat. I can play this. I'm having a good time.
Yeah,
it's super true, because now that I think about it, it's like after Time Temple Solomon, that's when I really started spending money on this game too. Like,
Camelot, I think, is generally given as the hook point, because the stories are okay until then, but Camelot's when Nasu himself got involved, and, like, was when he and the other guys at Type Moon were like, okay, our gacha game is not hitting as hard as it could. We need to put some big A effort into it. So yeah, it's definitely a big moment. I've been into Fate specifically a lot longer, but I'm trying to think, like, what the moment was. It may just have been, like, during the Zero or Unlimited Bleedworks adaptation years that I was like, yeah, I really like this, because, like, I watched the original Dean work, back in the day, and Fate's Day Night is almost 20 years old now, because it was 2004. So, like, but it was a lot less accessible way back, So I'm not really sure, like, where it was. I was definitely super hyped, like, for FGO as a concept when they announced it, because I'd already been reading about it, and I don't remember why, though. Like, was I just, wiki surfing after, like, watching Unlimited Bleedworks or something? Time keeps on ticking.
I'm trying to think of moments where I think other people think it's cool, and I'm just like, yeah, I don't think I got one. Because, I think in general, I'm of the opinion I really don't care what other people think of Fate. But I definitely think that Fate doesn't get as much coverage in the public eye as it should.
Yeah, Fate has some, I don't want to say stigma, but there's been some holdback. Even though it has been, like I said, almost 20 years since Fate's Day Night came out, a lot of people do think of it as still, like, the weird porn game. Not to say that that's not true about the original Fate's Day Night in parts, but remember that it's never been officially translated,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and obviously, like, we've talked about this before, the West America definitely has that, like, gap of, like, oh, it's a phone game, oh, it's a gacha, so you're going to, they're trying to gamble away all my money. Not that FGO is not necessarily going to do that, but, like, there are certain amounts of the discourse where gacha type mechanics are, like, really, really pushed against. Same with, like, loot boxes were, and, like, how people, like, really get all about like anything remotely resembling AI these days.
Yeah.
Like, if there's a sniff at all, people will, like, get real freaking in there. Yeah, I mean, I feel like Genshin's got a little bit of pushback, but who's actually the publisher of Genshin again? I'm trying to remember.
Is that MiHoYo?
Is it MiHoYo? Yeah, it's MiHoYo. Yeah, HoYoverse. Now I think they changed their name. they're willing to fucking shell out money to, like, be represented and put in front of people, as evidenced by the fact that Genshin keeps getting nominated at Game Awards and shit. Also, in general, though, I feel like Genshin has a slightly better rep because, like, they're more openly a little more advanced, a little more video gamey. I know that Genshin has no shortage of internal controversies. There's been a big hullabaloo I've just heard secondhand in the internet about how some late units they've been introducing are kind of, weak, underperforming. Oof. And they're, limited, which means people are not keen on it. So, like, they have their own fair share of nonsense. But yeah, I guess, I don't know. I feel like on the one hand, like, Fate has kind of dodged the ethos of, like, very terminally online young people, for better and for worse. So it's not necessarily, like, as much of a big swoop in circles, but also that means that, like, even though Fate's got, again, a lot of longevity, Fate's Stay Night almost 20 years old, Nasuverse stuff older, but it's got a lot of longevity, it's got a lot of like, buying power, obviously, because... does anybody remember how much, Sony purchased the FGO arm of Delightworks for a formless angle? It was quite a lot of money, I believe. So obviously they are assuming they're going to get back their return on investment there. But yeah, I don't know. Just doesn't have quite the same cachet and penetration over here. It's probably because they never got like I literally don't know if any like TV station or outlet aired the original Dean Fate's Stay Night. Like, I know it was dubbed. I don't know, you could buy it somewhere, but I don't know if it ever was on like TV somewhere. I don't think it was on like Adult Swim or anything.
No. Back, let's see, the OG was what, 2004, 2006, 2006, I want to say.
Yeah, I believe 6 was the anime adaptation.
Yeah, because I believe 2004 was the VN.
Yes, that's when the VN.
So released. Yeah, no, back in those days, no. You could probably find the DVDs at your local Suncoast.
Yeah,
but no.
And I'm sure that got a lot of like hardcores in from back in the day. But yeah, it's just not the same because like I feel like even today people debate the pluses or minuses of like Naruto, of Bleach. Of course, they are still debating the pluses and minuses of One Piece because it's still ongoing. Oh my god. But like that was part of an ethos, and some of that had that cultural penetration over here because they were like airing actively on TV. Admittedly, sometimes very fucky times on TV, as a person who remembers the original 4Kids One Piece dub. Yo.
I'm remembering the opening song. I'm sorry, it's so weird.
Yo ho ho, he took a bite of gum gum. I didn't realize what was happening as a kid because I think the idea that you could redraw and edit anime, you could censor things, just didn't occur to me as a child. But I can vividly picture the like replacing all the guns with like mallets and weird shit that I'm sure was a huge pain in the ass for them to do. Yeah. So like, somebody's got a gif of Sanji with lollipop instead of cigarette. That at least would have been an easier edit. But yeah, no. Not that wouldn't also have probably eventually ended up censored in Japan as well. I remember watching the TV edits of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. What's that? Jotaro's smoking? I can't tell. There's a big black shadow over his face. Actually, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is probably another good comparison. Like, that, I guess Fate anime is still, like, not... It's missing that entry point, that jump on, still. Because, like, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure was really obscure for a long time, guys. Like, it was a weird thing that started in, like, the 80s, and people knew about it, some people were really into the manga, but I don't think until David Production committed to animating at least these 6 parts that we've gotten animated, like, it didn't really blow up and get, like, all the extra meanie because there wasn't a consistent source for it. And I think that's still part of Fate's problem. Until they decide to release Fate's Stay Night over here, there's still going to be like a hard jump in. But hopefully they did enough on Mahayoru, which I realize now the special edition box is still sitting in my cabinet. Fuck. God damn
I'm going to get to it one day. That day is just not today.
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
God damn it, guys. Why did you have to get delayed? If the physical special had released, when the game actually like launched in like November, I probably would have had time. But like, damn.
Well, it's hard because we went for the physical. That's why.
I know. We could have just downloaded it digital, but like, I like the physical. It's got cool shit.
It does have cool shit.
Little books and stuff, and it's got one of those big boxes that I like. I think it even I'm pretty sure it comes in a steelbook as well, which is cool in the inside. Alas, alack. Well, don't worry, chat. We won't forget. We'll get there someday. But we got to find the time to play a visual novel and also do our other shit. But yeah, I don't know if I've seen. Like you said, I don't remember that moment when I've seen like other people really getting into it. I mean, I know some people have like shown some clips in our community about like VTubers like, you know, suddenly playing it. You know, I've seen the clips of like Pekara from the HoloLive like playing FGO and catching on to some big jokes and stuff. But like I've always been the Fate guy. Like I said, just to me the way I am, the like original story of Fate Stay Night really grabbed me.
Did you lose 11K? I bet you did.
That was not directed at me, by the way. That's a Patreon chat going on.
Yeah, so Axe is talking more Nikkei stuff.
I believe Fubuki was known to have already played FGO, but yeah, what I mean is like Pekara was experiencing it for the first time, and there was some, you know, some story memes and stuff there. I've seen some clips, but like, yeah, I don't know. I don't really remember a lot of other people having this moment where they were like making cool Fate videos about a thing they liked, because that's like I said, kind of where, you know, we got started on this train. Our original episode of Let's Talk FGO is very little about FGO, because FGO had been out for like a week. So yeah.
But let us keep moving on. We only have one left here to go.
That's right. That was not the last one.
No, this is the last one. It comes from Procrastinator, who says, "Have a nice weekend." Did they make some sort of plot to like switch around or something? Because our final one is still just "Have a nice weekend," but
yeah, I don't know. Is it a thing? Is it not? This is still arranged by Top, so maybe it's just because this person posted like literally at the last minute. It was 3 hours ago. The raw recording time of this episode is at 1 hour and 44 minutes. So,
yeah.
I don't understand how YouTube decides to sort these things. They didn't open source their algorithm, unlike Twitter. Apparently, Twitter dumped their searching and like appearance algorithm on the internet for people to look at.
You can't stop Drake Axe. She's a supervillain.
Anyway, that's mailbag.
That is mailbag. I hope everyone enjoyed it.
Thank you so much for your mail, as always. All right, that means we do a slick transition. Robyn puts a time code here, and we go straight to Chaldea Free Talk us. Also, yeah, somebody asking us about, we have multiple, like, 4 or 5 hour long, Let's Talk videos on story reviews.
Those are also usually our most highest viewed ones, too.
Yeah. That is actually another, we moved to Free Talk, I can mention that. That's another, like, hypothetical extra video I want to think about. I've talked about this before, but my idea is basically, those are some of our highest viewed videos, are those really long story moments where everybody gets together, but usually because of the pacing, technically our entire thoughts are usually split into like 2 or 3 videos.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been thinking about, like, because I have all the raw audio for every Let's Talk ever, pretty sure. I think I've got them all in order. Like looking at the old time codes and like specifically taking the audio from each episode where we talk about a Lost Belt and just cutting and stitching that all together, probably with like a brief intro to let people know what we do normally, and posting that as like, I don't know, the best of Let's Talk FGO or whatever. My main question right now, because that wouldn't be too much extra effort to do, I'd have to do some like time coding and you know, come up with a backing graphic and stuff. I'd maybe play around with some other new tech, but my main question right now I have is obviously, A, if you're our existing audience, are you interested in that sort of thing, like a recut of that content in an all-in-one package? Because for newer viewers, it might work because that means they don't have to like go back in our backlog and find several specific episodes to get our thoughts on stuff. But also, what order would you prefer it in? Because I could go either way. I could like start with 5.5, which wouldn't actually probably be that long because that wasn't that long of a story bit. Or do I start at like Lost Belt 1? Let me know in comments. It's one of the things I'm rolling around. Because it is kind of timely with Lost Belt 6 soon. That will also be split over like 3 episodes by virtue of it dropping in like 3 parts. There's only so much we can do to fight the tides of time.
Oh, sorry. I'm reading something right now as I am informed.
Yeah, I figured. But there's a thought for you to give me your feedback on. Anyway, I do have another couple of technically free talk segments to go into. Numero unjo. Akihabara Explosion, final thoughts. The event is over. We completed the story. and so we can talk about some stuff. I only have one final thoughts note for this, which is just this thing got some weird stuff. I mean, it's cool that FGO can still hit me with some like, that's a really weird and interesting plot point. I'm glad we can still get that. Dallas is saying he's gonna be busy this Sunday. Okay, well now we can definitely do some Stellaris or something that day instead.
Ella.
Gives me extra time to write show notes, not show notes, RPG notes as well, Game Master's notes. Anyway, but yeah, Axe already said it in the patron chat. The like robot head swap plot part was just like absolutely no way I could have seen that one coming. Even though because I read ahead to do like the pre-games and the like event guide stuff, I knew that the final boss would be mechanically Galatea. That's what the King of Figures was. I don't know how I could have expected that. Mm-hmm. How could I have seen this coming? I did not, really? And it was a thing.
Yeah, I feel like the fence kind of went for me in a blur. Like my whole, kind of adoption catching up to me, but I was just more there for the side stories. I'm gonna be real.
Yeah,
I just wanted to see my Akihabara and having a good time, and I got that. That's all I wanted. That's all I needed.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we needed a huge like payoff to the Akihabara event. I think it was a good run through of like, okay, here's Galatea, here's what she's about. Well, we need something to be at the end of this tower, So they, talk about the Grail and stuff. Kind of got some, some conversation about the nature of like universal love and stuff. Do you love and appreciate your figures and what goes into them and whatnot? And that's nice, I guess, to have a franchise be like, hey, we see you out there, appreciating us and our merch and stuff. That's cool. And, even appreciating, like, fan content and stuff with all the love put towards, like, doujin culture and stuff. But, yeah. Other than a nod and a wink, I think the main two things are just... I don't think we needed this crazy resolution to the Galatea thing, but it's... Like I said, I'm glad FGO can still surprise me. And we got an Aphrodite cameo.
Yes, that was, I think was the actual thing that made me go, what?
Yeah. They actually, like, I think the reveal there was supposed to be that, like, Akinira was supposed to have been Aphrodite in disguise the whole time?
Yeah.
Which explains, like, how she could be, shining up there. Also, yes, Lucky did robot a little bit, but I think I got the gist of his point at the end.
Oh, sorry. Am I still roboting?
Doesn't seem like it. I think you're clear now. Just a little bit of hitch in the Matrix. But, yeah. The run-through of, like, actually showing Aphrodite was, like, that's cool. That's a cool little cameo. And kind of, like, showing her out there in the world. Obviously, like you said, there's been no future tower event. There's no follow-up on this. I do feel like, even more so than some Lost Belt stuff, this does kind of pave the way for an Aphrodite unit, eventually, I hope. I know they got, like, a million other things to do, but, like, they actually reused her as a character and kind of introduced, like, why she might take an interest in these sorts of things. And, actually, like, having a conversation with, with Artemis, had a little sister, ? Time.
I do want to shout out how I think it's interesting that they're more open about Greek gods just being giant mecha. They refer to each other as units and, their function. They refer to each other as units and talk about their functions.
Yeah.
And whatnot. I thought that was nice. I thought that was a nice touch.
And I don't know, that might just be like, this game sometimes goes deep with its altered dialogue because we've actually done the Lost Belt stuff. They might have actually changed those lines, or that might just be a hint in general. I know that while he didn't frame it as literally in interviews, the Greek gods are giant robot spaceships, Nasu has had a habit of referring to them as being mechanical as compared to like some of the other divine spirits we see. It's been a long-running theme with him. So that may just be part of the illusion as well for them to get in there. But Berserker makes sense. But yeah, it's cool to see her, and like get in there. Wadarko's art is clearly, obviously, too good not to reuse.
True facts.
And I do like that they actually like. There's some. I like it when they do these mythological deep cuts, and I'm kind of sad that I said before that like they don't play into more the fact that we can literally draw the line of mythological drift from Aphrodite to Ishtar, right? For the whole, robot spaceship gods to work, they kind of have to cut that off there, but they still get some deep cuts there. They talk about, Aphrodite Pandemos, everyone's love kind of thing, which is one of the epithets, the aspects of Aphrodite that is supposed to be this kind of like, generalized, everybody, make sure to pay homage to Aphrodite because love, sex, and beauty and stuff are kind of important to most humans in some form or another. Somewhere in there's something going on in Aphrodite's business that you care about. So that's cool. They kind of talk about these different, aspects versus her, like, celestial love and stuff. I also appreciate, I talked about this in the Wanted, but I appreciate that dialogue line did come back, where they talk about the fact that, like, yeah, Galatea and Pygmalion's story is, like, remarkably straightforward and nice of Aphrodite. Like, there's no part of that story is there, like, a bamboozlement by her, other than, I talk about this in the Wanted, the bamboozlement comes from, the women that, Pygmalion sees that he's like, oh shit, real 3D women suck. In some versions, they are cursed by Aphrodite because they did not worship her correctly, which is why they are allegedly prostituting themselves on the street. But again, that's versionary. I don't think that I don't remember if Ovid actually like specified that. But no, the story of the poem about Galatea and Pygmalion, the Pygmalion poem, very straightforward and just like, yeah, no, Pygmalion carves a statue out of ivory. He falls in love with it. He prays to Aphrodite like, hey, give me I want to be the girl who's like my statue. Aphrodite's like, got you, fam. I've figured this out. And there you go. So it's neat. But as you said, I don't think the actual story, the narrative plot was very deep cutting. I don't think it was meant to be, a lot of it was in the side events. Though, I didn't want to talk about it yet because you weren't caught up, but, Blackbeard got to show up.
Mm-hmm.
Got to, we got some reference to that. That was nice. And he said got to call him out.
Yeah.
Like, hey, what are you doing? We got to see Medea again.
That Medea actually seemed to have, like, a role here this time.
Yeah. Regular Medea was actually part of the finale. She came up with the solution. I do like, though, that we had... This event almost feels like a soft sequel to Valentine's. Because obviously, even though she just showed up, Karen got a cameo at the end as well.
Yep.
Talking with Eddie Say about stuff. But also, like, Medea shows up and she has to fight Galatea because she's like, I understand, because you've got some Aphrodite in you. That's why I feel like I want to punch your face. Speaking again of how, like, again, the Pygmalion myth is Aphrodite is remarkably chill, because a lot of times Aphrodite is not chill. Her fucking around causes a lot of problems. Also see the entire Trojan War.
I think they referenced that a little bit. If I remember correctly.
There's some comments on it. No, Pygmalion's a Volcel. He chooses the 2D life. I mean, kind of. Listen, guys, just not to plug it too hard, but I discussed the weird modern thematic parallels you can draw with the Pygmalion myth in The Wanted. You guys can go through the summary there. It's slightly awkward and very funny. But yeah, it is a thematic to that, but yeah, we got some stuff going on there. But yeah, it's overall pretty good in there. But the side story bits were obviously, I think, where the best cuts were.
Indeed.
And with that, though, I think we can probably call a closer on those final thoughts.
I think so as well. Which
means there's one last thing. Because this is our last show of the month. We are recording it on the 31st, the literal last day in the month. It will technically come out for the public on the 1st of the next month. It means it's time for Fanservant Friday. The winner of this month's Fanservant Friday poll, by the way, support us on Patreon at the 5 and up level. You can vote in the Fanservant Friday poll every month.
Yeah.
And pick them. Heck, that means I gotta come up with April. I think I had some spring ideas for March I can recycle without the obvious one in there. Because your winner this month was Assassin Arsene Lupin. Shocking, I know. But y'all voted, so we can get into that. So if you guys don't know, and I don't know how you couldn't, because as we've mentioned before on this show, as evidenced as well by the White Day event that happened, Japan fucking loves Phantom Thief / Gentleman Thief stuff. They have a real big pull in there. They like a lot of this picaresque fiction, which if you've ever played Persona 5. Also, obviously, the classic anime, Lupin the Third. It also, by the way, is actually pronounced somewhere in that respect. Arsene Lupin. It's not Lupin. That's a guy from that Wizard franchise we don't talk about. Mostly because, again, I don't want to summon the discourse. Of course, there's a Phantom Thief Sentai. That actually doesn't shock me. I don't know how there's not a Sentai theme for everything. There's like a pirate one, there's a samurai one. There's a couple samurai ones, actually, I think. There's a lot of dinosaur ones. There's a couple of ninja ones. There's a lot that are in space. But yeah, Japan fucking loves this theme, so you probably know about this stuff. But, to reiterate, Arsène Lupin is a fictional character from the works of French writer Maurice Leblanc. He has wrote very prolifically. There are 17 novels and 39 novellas, 24 books collected, which are about him. And he is a famous gentleman thief. He has established a lot of the fictional vibes you would associate with. He's very infamous for sending the calling card. That's kind of his thing. In the stories, Arsène Lupin is such a famous phantom thief that generally he literally sends the subject a card and says, "Hey, I'm gonna steal this thing. You can make this real easy. Just ship me the item. Here's my P.O. box." Usually the subject of these stories are like, "Oh, that Lupin thinks he can get me. I'll show him." They do not show him. Because in the stories, Arsène is a master of disguise. There are times when he is so good at disguising that he is actually the narrator of the story in disguise. And you don't know it.
Sick.
You don't know it's him until he's like, "By the way, it was me." Like, all kinds of shit like that. Masterful at disguise. He also has a little bit of a funny relationship with Sherlock Holmes, which, by the way, is why Yes, Sherlock Holmes, as we say. That is the origin of that version. So, in the 1900s, Maurice Leblanc just put Sherlock Holmes in the stories, but Arthur Conan Doyle had legal objections to this, because they were not, deliberately collaborating. And so after that, it was changed to Sherlock Holmes, so you all know. So Sherlock Holmes became a recurring character in there, and that's why the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles did that variation. Because, as we've discussed, the Doyle estate still very litigious. The actual Sherlock Holmes stories are... the stories themselves are in the public domain, but the estate still controls the rights to adaptations of the original Sherlock Holmes mysteries. So, for instance, Great Ace Attorney Chronicles had to do that because several of their cases are straight up, named after the original Sherlock Holmes stories, but because they're not literally the stories, they are adaptations. Some movies have had to dodge around this a little. Got some stuff like this. But yeah, so he has a rivalry with the famous detective. There are also some fantastical elements that I have worked into the servant profile, but in general, in the sake of mystery, there's actually some weird stuff in there. At one point, Arsène has allegedly found the Fountain of Youth. But also, Arsène is supposed to be in a former relationship with and has a rivalry with a woman known as Josephine Balsamo, who is said to be the descendant of the Count Cagliostro himself. So there's some, fictional back and forth there. And also, like I said, I absolutely do not know why FGO has not straight up just made an Arsène Lupin servant yet. Because obviously in Japan, this is not a subject of, legal conflict, unless perhaps it is because Arsène is a main character's persona in Persona. I don't know if there'd be some confusion there they don't want to do. But I'm sure that they could get, and obviously there's the Lupin the Third, series as well. But those are, written as Arsène and Lupin. So if you had the servant Arsène Lupin and stuck them together, I feel like that's enough of a different basis there. And certainly we have outright, Phantom Thief shit. We've got Professor Moriarty. We've got Sherlock Holmes himself. So we've got Phantom Thief references, obviously, Summer Carmilla, Mistress C, she sends calling cards and stuff. So, like, there's some wiggle room here. Also, we talked about this when 5.5 came out, but allegedly there was a design put for the Count of Cagliostro. So there's some tie-ins, some back and forth here. There's some other funny notes that I will bring up. But with that all out of the way, let's talk about the servant profile I came up with. So I characterized Arsene Lupin as an assassin, mostly because, again, there's no other real class for this. You could probably argue pretender, maybe, because he is a master of disguise, but he himself is not really a pretender. He is the genuine article Arsene Lupin.
Yeah.
He has created his own legend. So I think assassin still works in the sense that, like, it's still our sneaky class, and we've had weirder assassins. Though I say he is chaotic good because Arsene makes it a point in the stories, the original stories, that he personally does not kill people in the act of the robbery, and if a villain should happen to die, it is usually not by his direct action, but rather through shenanigans. Though I think he may have actually directly caused a few people to die in the stories. There's a lot of them. I'm not going to say he doesn't kill people, but in the same sense that Cosmic Kiryu doesn't kill people, Arsene Lupin doesn't kill people. No confirmation on whether or not Arsene Lupin knows how to do the Tiger Drop. Chaotic good, stat line, strength D, endurance C, agility A. He's very fast. MP B, luck A+. This motherfucker be lucky. NP rank C. Class skills, independent action A. Because, he's Arsene Lupin. He goes undercover a lot. Presence concealment, only B. Still above average because he is very stealthy, obviously, but he's not actually the stealthiest.
He'll fool any human.
Yeah, for sure. But, like, in terms of, like, actual, like, the presence concealment effect of not being detected and not being seen at all, being invisible, I think he's only okay at that. He's pretty good, but he's not the best. He has some other stuff we'll talk about in a second. Personal skills. First of all, Collector C, the ability to draw rare items into the possession of the servant. Gilgamesh has this, and I think some other people do have Collector as well. But basically, it's a servant skill. Master can't benefit from it directly, but Arsene does have a pretty diverse collection over the stories of the novels. He allegedly possesses a cursed diamond. He possesses Marie Antoinette's necklace. There is a radioactive godstone he owns that does some weird shit. He's got, Saints' reliquaries. And allegedly, in his possession, Arsene Lupin is said to have the actual real Mona Lisa. That's right. Arsene says that the one in the museum is fake. Again, I'm like, there's a lot of cross lore we could do here. That'd be a very powerful introductory event if we did this. It's still C, though, because obviously Arsene does have to actually do some legwork to do things. It's not like Gilgamesh where shit just falls in his lap, but he has a pretty good collection of actual legendary stuff. Another skill here, Espionage EX. As seen from some of our favorited, more spy-type assassins like Charlotte Corday and Matahari. Not really presence concealment, but the ability to make one's presence register as hostile. I don't think he leaves the calling card in that sense, but he does send them the calling card to let them know that he's coming to get it. So that's where that comes from. I don't think he usually leaves a message behind, but in some stories he might leave a little token. I don't know. But yeah, Espionage EX, not presence concealment, but the ability to make one's presence fail to register as hostile. Matahari has a very high rank of this. I believe Charlotte Corday does as well. Basically, this is the representation of Arsene's ability as a master of disguise. Yes, he can move unseen, but what he's really freakishly good at is being other characters, disguising himself. As I said, he can be any character in an Arsene Lupin story, including the narrator, without you knowing. So he has a freakish ability to appear in disguise as a non-hostile, and you don't even realize that he's there. Very solid. Sleight of Hand A+. So this is a skill I've used before. I don't think we've actually pulled up my Harry Houdini one, but I don't think that's been an episode. I'll double check. I have a pretty long list of stuff that I can scratch through. Still, without going back into some new era. Though I do have some new Fanservant ideas to add when I have time. But Sleight of Hand is, manual dexterity, particularly lockpicking, palming, pickpocketing, card tricks, and trick throwing. Arsene is a phantom thief. He can pick all kinds of locks. He can even pick the pockets of famous detectives, because this happens in that original Herlock Sholmes story, as he palms something that's in Herlock's pocket. And obviously in servant terms, this translates to improvising throwing weapons. So he can throw calling cards, knives, random objects, whatever at people. Would be some sort of attack animation. And then last personal skill, Again, you could probably drop maybe Collector out of here if you wanted to include this. Water of Youth B, one of the many treasures Arsene fought over. Mineral water from a certain spring in France, said to bring youth. I believe in the story it was said to be under a lake in Avignon. But he always has a couple vials of it. While it's in this form, it doesn't necessarily reverse aging per se, but it brings the vitality of youth to the drinker. So this would probably be like a targetable heal skill. Maybe remove debuffs, kind of a thing. Something that some assassins have, but not a lot have. Give you some utility, that would be fun. And also, I think it's just cool to have him have, the man has a lot of cool treasures. It's cool to have some water of youth in your pocket. Some Fountain of Youth energy drink. And then he has one Noble Phantasm. You probably already can guess what it is, chat, but it's the calling card. Subtitle, Save Me the Trouble and Send the Item. A, B, ++ anti-personnel Noble Phantasm. And this is the iconic symbol of the Phantom Thief, originated by Arsene. He would send a signed calling card to let you know it's him. It specifically names the items he's going to steal. He often names the time he is going to steal them, or at least the time frame. And again, he would include a line saying, if you want to just save me the trouble, go ahead and box up the items for me so it's easier. Or ship them to this address. Like, a very bold but perfect for a Noble Phantasm type crystallization. As a Noble Phantasm, Arsene can create a calling card for any item. He names the item and signs the card. This creates he sends it to the intended target, and it becomes a powerful curse that makes it possible for him to steal whatever he names. So long as it is something that he can interpret as being owned, he can steal it, including certain Noble Phantasms, Mystic Codes, Magic Seals, whatever. And an actual Grail War, Arsene would probably be incredibly unhinged. We're talking like, Spartacus or Benkei type shit. Until the target willingly gives it up or Arsene steals it, the curse doesn't end, but he can only write and send one calling card at a time. Once Arsene has it, he can give back the item or it can be recovered, but he gets the power to steal it first. Servants with certain abilities or very high luck might be able to defy his curse, but, it's got that option out there. I also wrote in a note, Arsene himself detests violence, but it might be possible for him to even steal a life. That could be the thing he writes on the card, is just like, I'll take your life. But as an actual Noble Phantasm, this would give them a lot of flexibility in the way to do it. How I imagine this would work is it would be similar to Carmilla's calling card skill, but bigger, and straight up be like, Arsene puts a timed buff that after the end of the next turn, he just steals that opponent's buffs. Your buffs, give them to me. Just whatever they set up, he takes them. Possibly you could set it up to redistribute to the party as well if you wanted to be crazy, because, obviously, like I said, he can, once the items are in his collection, he can decide to throw them away, move them around, whatever. Because, obviously, in Fluff, we're talking about, the ability to steal Noble Phantasms. You could also have it actually apply debuffs to the enemy, like, giving them NP Seal for a turn, which is also very useful. And it's something I don't think a lot of assassins do. But, just in general, he writes out the calling card. I'm imagining the animation like you just, hear the pen writing sound, just like, at this time, this date, I shall steal this. And he signs it, and then he throws the card. It's very flashy. Yeah, that's a good one. Somebody in Patreon chat says, every buff he takes, gives him or the team, some sort of special damage up or attack up. That'd be a good way to fluff it. Like I said, give the target, remove their buffs, apply those buffs to Arsene for sure, and then probably give them NP Seal. You would also probably need some kind of ability that stacks with Overcharge, so that could probably be like, gives the team NP gauge up, gives the team, attack up or something, gives himself attack or crit chance up, whatever. Maybe in addition to the timed debuff, because what if, you accidentally kill that servant with the rest of your cards, or that target, before he steals the buffs. Maybe give him, like, a, crit chance or crit, be crit damage up or start generation rate up first, to represent him getting, juiced up for the heist. But there's a lot of things they could do with this. And like I said, this is one of those ones that I genuinely do not know why it's not a servant already. This is, not just in FGO, but in general. Like, if you read what sort of things Maurice LeBlanc did with Arsene Lupin, there's a lot of tie-ins here. Like I said, he's got Marie Antoinette's necklace, there's the Mona Lisa thing, obviously the relationship with Herlock Sholmes, and just in general, the obsession with Phantom Thieves. I'm sure Amakusa would get a big kick out of this, Funny enough, I don't believe that him and Moriarty would get along, because Moriarty is actually a bad man who is responsible for some people dying, because obviously that's what gets Sherlock involved is murder. Sherlock doesn't get off his couch and stop his cocaine solution unless there's a murder. And yes, by the way, if you've I have actually gone back and listened to some public access audiobooks of some old school Sherlock Holmes stories. The original study in Scarlet is pretty whack. As Axe put it the other day when he was talking about it, that's the one that involves the Mormon ninjas, and I am not fucking with you. There is a huge aside in part 2 to explain the backstory of the murderer, and I shit you not, it involves the historical Mormons in Utah. It's pretty wild. But yeah, Sherlock Holmes specifically does inject an injectable solution of cocaine. He does not snort, but he juices. And he does it less and less as the stories go on. Probably because he gets stimulated more. But yeah, he doesn't fuck around except for murder. And as I said, Arsene doesn't really do violence. Like, occasionally villains die and stuff like that, but he is not a thug. He doesn't beat you up and take your stuff. He's about the skill. So I think he would actually not get along well with Moriarty. In terms of design, I mean, you saw Amikusa's costume. That would probably be where we would start. Obviously, the Arsene character from Persona would probably be a little bit of an origin there. You need a coat. It is required. He would probably have a tall hat. Some very fanciful, turn of the century wear. I imagine him fighting with a cane that may also possibly be a sword. Obviously, you could make some Lupin the Third references. Like, give him, at least one costume be just a normal, suit and tie kind of a thing. A little bit like how Saito has that one ascension. Draw the parallels, though obviously you'd probably have, a different, hairstyle and maybe even other accents to the body design. But there are genuinely a lot of interesting, art design stuff you could get together here. And, I think I've had my design for Arsene for a while, and I just love the balls of this man. He writes you a signed note, he tells you what day the item is there, and not only does he say he's gonna steal it, he's like, and yes, if you could give me the ease, make sure to package it up for me. Box up this painting so it's easier for me to move. And I do actually believe, not usually on camera, but sometimes people do go for that. They're just like, fuck it, it's Arsene Lupin. And yeah, that is Fanservant Friday. And that's a good time to wind down our show. Our raw audio is well over 2 hours. It is almost midnight. So I need to get about putting this out there so it comes out sometime this century. But that means it's time for a little bit of outro stuff. So, as this week, comes to a close, hey, we did a lot of streaming this week. You should check that out if you want more content from us. On Monday, Lucky played Resident Evil 4 Remake. Please watch that stream. At the end, Lucky goes to the shooting gallery, which is very popular with people, so people might actually be interested to see that. I don't know.
I could do a few rounds. Listen, I haven't been able to play Resident Evil 4, so I'm jonesing for it a little bit.
Yeah.
People keep talking about it.
Check out the stream. Reward Lucky for his jonesing. His sacrifice. Tuesday, Had a Fail Betrayal. It was about Red Eyes Black Dragon. It's doing very well, but if you didn't see it, go watch it. I get to yell about one of my favorite archetypes and how Konami has done it dirty for years. Wednesday, we streamed Final Fantasy XIV. I did some dungeons and stuff, and also we did some other things. Progress story, talk about things. Check it out. Lucky's there. Some of the other boys are there as well. The Crows. And Thursday did a bonus stream. If you didn't get enough Yu-Gi-Oh! Did Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. That went pretty well. Did a solo mode. Did not have to do ladder, because when we didn't have enough 3 hours yet, Loth popped in. And so you got to have some fun Omega versus on-camera Loth time. I don't remember which stream he's talking about, but Architect said it best also in chat. If you did see the stream, watch it again. It's only 3 hours. And more of that will be coming back. Part 2 of RE4 Remake will be kicking us off on Monday. Also, I don't know what we're doing for it. Maybe more 14 and stuff. But What's Up is coming out later today. If you're watching this publicly on YouTube, that is not a prank. We live stream What's Up, our stream about stuff. We'll talk a lot about video games. Did you like that Stellaris conversation? There'll be more of that. There'll probably be some various Final Fantasy conversations and stuff. Check them out. But with all that pressing advertisement out of the way, we're going to wind down the show. If you're watching this video on YouTube, be sure to give it a like. I am no longer asking. If the Discord soundboard was fully out there, I would insert the, gun click sound.
Another one to add to the list, I suppose.
I'm a healer, but If you are new here, please give us a subscribe. And also consider ringing that bell for notifications. If you turn on the bell and set it to all, you'll always know when we're posting a new video or when we're streaming. You can leave a comment in the comment section down below. You can also join our Discord through the link below as well, and also on our channel page. Join our Discord. We have fun times. We can talk about all kinds of things. You can also join our channel membership by clicking the join button below or clicking that link in the description as well. Get access to membership badges and emotes all over the place on our channel, in live chats, in comments, on mailbag. It's cool. And also, like I said before, consider supporting us on Patreon. You can get access to this episode in audio format early, because I edit the audio right after we're done recording, and I post that first to patrons for as little as $1 a month, or approximately $10 a year, because there are annual memberships at higher levels. You can vote in polls like Fanservant Friday. You can get access to video releases like Wanted early. You can get access to live recordings of Let's Talk FGO and more, and it really helps us out. And if you push that Patreon number up a little bit more, look, you can subscribe to some Adobe stuff, which would probably be able to possibly be turned into some more emotes and badges and stuff for YouTube as well. We all benefit. We all get cool things. I won't say that out loud because we could do that bit, but somebody said something funny. I think one of those jokes, one of those flips there is something that somebody's mentioned before that I'm just like remembering out of the blue. But hey, that's another patron plug. You can understand that joke if you were a patron and could look at the patron section of our Discord. But I think that's everything I have here, and I don't feel like dragging the show out because we're almost at 2.5 hours. Very solid time for us. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Be sure to, tell your friends if you know some people who are into Fate. Fire this off to them. Let them know. Hear our conversations. Keep your eyes peeled for some other videos and stuff. And we'll catch you guys next time. Good night, everybody.
Good night.